Welcome to this Thursday edition of Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBaris Casino in Baton Rouge and also the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Go to lasportshall.com for a gridiron auction that's running right now with some fantastic Joe Burrow items and other sports memorabilia through the 8 p.m. September 7th. It'll be going on online to benefit the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. We bring in Playboy Marty and Glenn Guilbeau. Hope you guys are doing well. Want to get some reaction right away, Marty. Big news in Louisiana. Leonard Fournette, who we talked about earlier this week, surprisingly let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They only owed him $4 million this year. They let go of him. Now he found a new home, and Saints fans aren't going to be happy. He's going to be playing with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs this year.
I kind of like the fit, and, he's going to be playing in a spread offense for the first time in his career. The box, there's not going to be like 7 guys in the box lined up for him this time. And I don't know. I'm excited to see it. As someone who's not a huge Saints fan, it doesn't really affect me that much. I thought it would be Seattle or New England, though, before Tampa, though. For some reason, that just never seemed like it was going to happen. But I guess he likes Florida.
Yeah, he does, because no state tax, no state income tax. That's why he loves it. Let me ask you, Glenn, your reaction. I mean, personally, we talked about this yesterday on Sports Shorts Daily. You've got a guy in Kamara who can't stay healthy. He's about to get a big new deal, $12-13 million most likely. You got a guy Mixon up there in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's running back, who literally had very similar numbers to Burrow a year ago, actually less total yards, similar rushing numbers. He's getting a 4-year, $48 million extension. So for whatever reason, Leonard Fournette is a little bit in the doghouse in the NFL, yet he's been very productive, and now he's paired up with Tom Brady. Glenn, your reaction?
Yeah, you froze on me, right? Well, I'm surprised. So Jacksonville didn't get anything for Fournette.
No,
correct?
He's free agent. They signed him for $2 million base, and he can make as much as 3.5 this year.
Well, Jacksonville messed up there because they said they couldn't get anything in a trade. Well, they got less than that, so they could have at least got afterwards for him. So I don't understand that. Fournette has been injury prone, more injury prone than Kamara, really. And versatile, but I think the right offense and the right coach can definitely get the value out of Fournette.
Marty, I got to think that Tom Brady's a guy who never really has had that horse running back at any point in his career. He's had flashes. He's had guys who've had good playoff runs and things like that. And even Kevin Falk, who he calls his favorite teammate ever, wasn't the horse number one, do-it-all running back. He was more of a third-down guy and had some fun. But to have a guy like Leonard Fournette, who literally you could hand the ball to and potentially get 1,300 yards, that's something he just really hasn't had much of in his career.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. He had Corey Dillon at the end of his career. I think he got, a bulk of the carries that season. Stephen Ridley, actually, that one year where he was like a really good fantasy player because he was like the only guy they had for some reason. Yeah, it's going to be definitely different for them. And it's not like they have no running backs on that roster. I mean, Ronald Jones is a second-year player. He may be third-year player now, actually, but still plenty of potential there. They still have Shady McCoy, who I imagine might get cut now. But right. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how Brady fits with him and how Fournette fits with Brady.
Hey, Glenn, the first game of the year, the Saints take on the Tampa Bay Bucs, so Saints fans and Louisiana fans won't have to wait very long. But nobody will be in the stadium to see it. Unfortunately, you got all these stars on the field. Nobody will be there.
Right, yeah, that's going to be a strange game for sure. Fournette was a running back who was supposed to be the bell cow, and that's just not really how the NFL is anymore. So he's going to have to realize that he can't be that guy. Hawk was always kind of a satellite second, third option, and that was effective. That's what Leonard's going to have to become. It's going to be interesting how that works.
Well, all kinds of weapons for
his can work.
Yeah, all kinds of weapons for Brady now. It's unbelievable. All right, well, NBA, man, I love Game Sevens. We've been fortunate enough to have 2 Game 7s this week, and no matter the sport, I don't even like hockey. But you tell me there's a Game 7, I care. And last night, shockingly, back-to-back Game 7s, Marty, and both of the unders hit. By the way, as yesterday the Rockets they squeaked by Oklahoma City, so Marty's ticket's still alive. 104-102, and I think the over-under was
one.
What was it?
It won. I just had him in the series. I actually had a great gambling night that I would love to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Okay, so I was not feeling good about the Rockets winning that game, like at all, like all day. And I was like, okay, how can I mitigate this? So last minute, I put in Thunder plus 5.5 and the under, and all three of them hit.
Wow.
So, yeah. No,
you didn't trifecta that thing, did you?
No, I'd already made the first one. But yeah, no. So it was a good night. Waking up a little pep in my step this morning.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Lou Dort. Did you know who Lou Dort was before last night?
I did, but I imagine most people did not.
Tell us who he is, because I didn't know who he was.
I mean, he's a young player with the Thunder. Where did he go to college?
He was an undrafted free agent. I know that much.
Yeah. I know he's Canadian. He went to he went to Arizona State. That's why I know. Yeah.
I mean, he had 30 points, first ever undrafted free agent to have 30 points in a playoff game. And I don't know how Oklahoma City didn't win the game, because Harden was terrible. He had maybe the worst game of his career, 17 points, 1 of 9 from 3. This is, by the way, it's a trend that he doesn't play well in Game 7s, but that's a whole other thing. But he did show up big at the end, made a big defensive play. But I'm shocked that, as bad as Harden played, Oklahoma City didn't win the game.
I am too, and I was feeling okay. Okay, this is weird, because like I was feeling bad that Harden wasn't playing well. Like that was worrying me. But at the same time, I was like, okay, Harden's not doing anything, and at times the Rockets were up like 6-8. Like so like. I guess this is trending like in like some way a positive thing, but like when you're getting your scoring from Lou Dort, and like I mean Chris Paul had a good game. He didn't have his best game, but he had a good game. But when no one else was really doing anything, like Shea didn't really have a good game. Schroeder was just okay. Like that's what happens. And I just want to say, Chris Paul complaining about the refs at the end of the game. Shut up. Go home. Go home. You got that foul call at the end of the game just because you whined about it. So just shut up, go home. We're thrilled to not have to look at you for a year.
Glenn, of all the Game 7 possibilities that are out there and of all the sports, is there one that you prefer the best? Glenn, are you able to hear me?
You said of all the Game 7s, then what?
Yeah, which one is of all the Game 7s and all the different sports, is there a sport that you tune into the most when it's a Game 7?
Oh, I would say the World Series. The Astros were in a Game 7 when they won it in 2017. I don't know. It was tainted at the time.
Right.
But that was a great win over the Dodgers. That's probably my heart, because I was a Stros fan since I was a kid. But most of the Game 7s I remember are MLB, Red Sox Yankees series and so forth. But the big one was the Astros.
Marty, yesterday in the NBA, also let you comment, there was a controversial ending. We know that the Miami Heat are surprisingly going up 2-0 on Milwaukee. They look like they were tied going to overtime. And then on Jimmy Butler's shot at the horn, a whistle, and he goes to the free throw line and wins the game. A whistle on a
with
ticky-tack.
With no time on the clock. Yeah. I had never really seen like someone go to the line with no time on the clock, like literally 0.0, like make it and you win. Like I had never seen that. Apparently it's happened before. I had never seen it. But I'll walk it back to one possession earlier. Milwaukee was down 3. They had made like a crazy steal to cut it to like one possession, and then Butler missed a free throw, so like it was Miami by 3. Milwaukee ball, and Middleton shoots a 3, and Dragic just like does that. Middleton jumps into him, gets a foul call, 3 free throws. Terrible call. Like I don't want to say worse than the other one, but like really bad. And he makes 3 free throws and then they get it. And so you come down and then you see this ticky-tack foul by Giannis, but at the same time, the right team won. So like, I'm not upset with the result. I am upset with refs deciding games at the end of the game.
Did you see the news, Glenn, came out where Steve Nash is now going to be the basketball coach of the Brooklyn Nets? This guy's 46 years old. Steve Nash had never coached. A chronic dope smoker. He's well known for being Mr. Blaze. So surprised he's not coaching the Nuggets as much as he loves the marijuana. But Steve Nash, who's got a friendship with Kevin Durant going back to his days as a consultant with the Warriors, now the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. This screams, let's make Kevin Durant happy, right?
Well, he's not the first coach, an NBA head coach, without ever coaching before.
Right.
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, maybe. That's kind of an NBA thing. At least he was a point guard, so they kind of understand the game a little better, kind of like a catcher in baseball. But yeah, I mean, he can't really suspend players for smoking dope, right?
I mean, they don't really get suspended for that in the NBA. Like they kind of turned a blind eye to that in the NBA, I think now.
Well, he's going to be like the cool hip coach that everybody's going to want to play for, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think he's going to be. I honestly think he's going to be great. I mean, he's probably my favorite athlete of all time. Has Steve Kerr vibes to me. Like I feel like he's going to step in and have instances of sex. Obviously, having 2 superstars to start your coaching career doesn't suck. But I think he'll be good with keeping Kyrie like a little more temperamental.
Yeah, and if they win the championship, there won't be champagne. It'll just be up in smoke.
A little puff, little puff of smoke. Yeah, former Phoenix Sun and former Santa Clara Gaucho, Steve Nash, the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
Cheech and Chong.
Here's a story. Just came off the wire that Jimmy Ott is no longer going to be living in Baton Rouge doing radio. He's now officially moving to Chicago. Because the Cubs announced this morning their multi-year extension with DraftKings. They're going to have betting booths in Wrigley Field in the next couple of years. They're going to have betting kiosks either inside the stadium or just outside the stadium, but that's coming in Chicago. Jimmy Ott's head exploded. He's moving to Chicago.
Well, I don't know what that means for my career, but yeah.
You got to move to Chicago.
I guess. Yeah, big day, couple days for DraftKings. Yesterday they announced that Michael Jordan has like an ownership stake like in it now is a big part of it. So we'll see what it does for the stock prices. Probably good things.
I tell you, just like society, Glenn, it's been turned on its head the last couple of years because gambling was so taboo in all pro sports just a handful of years ago. Now every league's, embracing it. You got teams in Las Vegas. That was a no-go for many, many years. And now here we go in a city where they had the White Sox scandal, 100 years ago because of gambling. They're now going to be kiosks in the stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of like just realizing what's going on anyway, because, part of pro sports has always been gambling. It was just kind of people turned a blind eye to it. But yet, why were there point spreads in the paper all the time, even back in the day? So I think it's just people realizing, hey, look, they're going to do it anyway.
One last topic here on Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Yesterday was Terry Bradshaw's 72nd birthday. Of course, he's got a TV show, right? That's on the Bradshaws, a reality show following him and his wife. That's coming on the air in a couple of weeks. That's going to obviously be must-watch TV. But it brought me to this question, and I'll get your take, Marty, being a North Louisiana guy. Of course, Bradshaw went to Louisiana Tech, and Glenn Guilbeau had been covering sports since before Marty was born. And the question is Terry Bradshaw, of all the Louisiana quarterbacks, not necessarily who's the greatest, because, I'm talking about Louisiana natives. I mean, I'm not putting Drew Brees in that category. He's not from Louisiana, right?
Right.
But of all the Louisiana natives, who's your favorite / best quarterback for you? And I'll start with Glenn.
Well, I'd say Terry Bradshaw is definitely up there. I mean, he was consistent. He won 4 Super Bowls. He succeeded as a passer, even though his head coach really didn't want him to pass. He kind of called his own plays at times against the will of the head coach. So I always liked that. I always liked Terry as a person. Burt Jones is one of my favorites too. He was probably a more spectacular quarterback than Terry, but not for as long and didn't have the championships. But I would say Bradshaw is definitely in the top 2 or 3 for me.
Marty, you got a pick there?
I'm trying to think of who I'm just. So it's basically it's like Bradshaw, the Mannings.
Not the Mannings.
What?
I'm sorry, the 2 sons. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like Patrick Ramsey, I guess qualified. I'll go Bradshaw. Yeah, Shreveport guy. Like, yeah. I think that in terms of being the most consistently great, and I think he represents Louisiana a little better than the Mannings do. So I'm going with Terry.
I think I would say Peyton Manning as far as the best. If I had to pick a guy to play a game with, I'd go Peyton Manning. But I got to tell you, my favorite to watch, root for, was Jake Delhomme. Jake Delhomme was an unbelievable player for 4 years at UL Lafayette. I mean, started every game his college career, I think except one, maybe his first one. And so not only was he, but then just what he did in the NFL, you wanted him to get his chance more with the Saints. Hazlitt was stuck on Aaron Brooks, and then so it didn't happen there. But then he obviously took Carolina to the Super Bowl, and just the way he played with heart, and he's a Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer too, along with Terry Bradshaw. I'd say Jake Delhomme is my favorite to watch.
Yeah, damn near won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jim Hazlitt stuck with Aaron Brooks, even though Brooks was hurt. That's one of the worst mistakes in Saints history. But I would Peyton Manning too. I was just thinking Peyton from Mississippi, but no. Peyton Manning to me is the greatest, and Archie might as well be from Louisiana. He's been here so long, and all 3 of them and that family's done so much for the city. And when you look at that camp, for the state as well.
Yeah, think about it. Between Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, they've got 3 Super Bowls. Terry Bradshaw's won more Super Bowls than both of them combined. So, we sometimes we goof on Terry Bradshaw because of his character, his goofy character nature on TV, but he was one hell of a quarterback. He's Playboy Marty, Glenn Guilbeau. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Shorts Daily. Don't forget, go to lasportshall.com. Great auction running all week long, benefiting the Hall of Fame, and it ends December 7th at 8 p.m. That's Labor Day at 8 p.m. Go to lasportshall.com. Have a great week, everybody.